Well, hey, handy people, Dan here. Hey, I'm back working on Lazarus. Let me show you what's going on. Come on. So this is the rear assembly from the C70, and the only thing I've got yet to do is change these bushings. And I looked at these. This one's been changed. The other one looks original. I've got two brand new ones that are the Phoebe Bilstein ones, and I'm going to put those in. And I got a cool tool that a friend loaned me, and I'm going to use this to hopefully pull these bad boys out and get the job done. So I'll show you how I'm going to do it. First, we have to get this nut off, and to do that I use the impact. I take the nut off, then I screw it back on about 3 or 4 turns, and then I use it as my striking point to get that knurled part of the bolt out. That's all there is to it. Next, I dry fit the tool and get my plan together, because I'm going to heat this up quite hot, and so I have to dry fit the tool to make sure it's going to fit. And it takes a little bit of negotiating, but it goes in, and there's the tool going in. Then I'll tighten this nut up, get that out of the way. Yeah, so you make sure the tool's kind of set. And then I'm going to be applying a good amount of heat, and I don't want to damage these brake lines, so I have a piece of concrete board that I'll use. You can see I've used it to weld on, that I'm going to heat all around this thing, and it's going to get a little stinky. So I got both garage doors open, and I'm going to get my fan and set it up blowing out so I don't have to breathe it, and I'll pull this out. This bushing looks good. Actually, both bushings look okay, but I'm going to still replace them since I can, and it's a lot easier to do it here up on a bench rather than underneath the car. Well, I've got the fan running, and I heated this up with the torch, and I'll show you. You know, the bushing on these is about 1.5 inches, so I'm heating from here to the front, trying not to melt that outer edge because it'd just be a mess. But I'm hoping that this will pop out with that tool, but I'm going to hit it again with another round of torch. As I began to heat this up, I noticed that I had the fan blowing right on it, and it was taking forever. Then I changed the angle of the fan and actually blew above the work surface, like just above my head. and that took the smoke away, or the odors away, and it worked a lot better. It was a lot better. I got a lot more heat transfer, and I was able to get the parts out. So I greased the bushing and the sleeve, and I tapping it in with a rubber mallet, and you can only get so far with doing this. So then I got a large punch, and I'm catching the edge of this. There's a metal edge to this that's allowing me to knock it in the remainder of the way. And I may be able now with a screwdriver, since I got enough hole there, I might be able to lever it in. This might do the trick. Okay. It's still not wanting to go all the way, so I'm going to have to tap it in. Almost there, just a little bit more. Oh yeah. I get it started by tapping it in, then I'll pull it through the rest of the way with the impact. Well, there you have it. One down, one to go. So some of the lessons I learned: one, get this good and hot. Two, get a fan, but don't blow it right on here. Blow it up here so it keeps the smoke away from you. And it didn't smoke as bad as I thought it was going to. Two is grease up, clean it out when you're done pulling the old one. When you pitch that old one, clean it out, and then grease up the bushing and the tube, and then just slowly tap it in along this rim until it goes into place. And then you can see the inside, it moves around a little bit, but this bushing is nice and snug. So this should help the suspension for a long time. So it's a fairly simple to do. It seems like it's a lot harder. The tool makes it real easy. The tool pulls the helps pull it out of the socket, and I think you gotta, the combination of heat and whatnot is very, very critical. I also know that you have to go in this orientation, bolt, and then this goes behind here, behind this yoke, so that it can pull successfully, pull that end out. And that's it. It's really pretty straightforward. It's a sweet setup. It's a sweet system. Yeah, it's a good tool. But this goes in from underneath, and this goes behind this yoke, these two pins. And that's how you use the tool. Now I'm going to do the next one, but so the tool's in place. This screw is the tensioner. It pushes against here. You'll see down below there. That just sets right on the metal. And there's a nub on the opposite side, right under here, that right here, and it's right below this. It's right below this guy. It's right under here. That goes in a hole that's on this tube, and you get that in there, and that's how you can use it to both pull and I'm pressing in the new bushing. I lubed the bushing up very well, and I lubed the tube up, and it's going right in. Now, take note, you need, the bushing has a small side and a large side. Large side up. Here's the untouched one, large side up, small side down. Smaller side down. They don't look much different, but they are. Bigger, smaller. Make sure you keep the same orientation as you take them off. And yeah, this one's almost in. I'm just finishing it up. Definitely use a ratchet whenever you're using a screw type compression or removal tool. You'll wreck the threads if you don't. Again, I got her started coming out, and I'm turning the ratchet, and you can see it draw out this lighter color. I don't want to touch anything because it's pretty hot. But when you heat it up and it starts to bubble out from underneath this lip, it looks like that. It starts to bubble black goop. You know you're hot enough, and that she's going to come out. And I don't think this guy's been out since new. There, it's out. It's loose. So, take my wrench off it. I'm going to get my gloves, and I'll pull that off. You know, I shared with you the lessons I've learned. Tools that are handy and impact, hearing protection, rubber mallet, torch, and an appropriate sockets and whatnot. It's pretty simple. Thanks for watching, and please like, share, and subscribe, and I'll keep them coming.